going in slow motion today. Hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. I think it's going in slow motion today.
It's going slow motion for you? Oh, Lord.
Oh, that's funny. It's okay.
Hey, girl, hey.
We know we are a trip. That's all I can say.
Oh, God. Why not? Shoot.
Ooh.
Why not? Hey, hey, hey. We do this music one more time because I'm trying to figure out how I ain't got my shirt on.
I know. I don't know.
Y'all listen. Y'all already know that we about to get into it. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
We're glad you came to see us again.
Yes.
It's another Wednesday. Hey, it's Mother's. And we got a message. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Look,
Yeah, we need this.
I had to give her a little something. Had to give her a feel good.
Yes. Woo. That did it, sis. Thank you.
That did it.
Yes,
So
it did it.
I'm so glad. How you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better now. Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. Look, high five, sis, and kisses for getting me through my mental health day.
Listen, you already know that's what we here for. I don't know about nobody else, but that's what we here for.
Yes.
For each other. Because sometimes, baby.
Yeah.
Well, guys, listen. I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited about today. I'm excited about our guests. I'm excited. And right before we bring her on, some weeks, some days, sometimes, get a little rough. Every day ain't a good day. Every day ain't a bad day either, but every day ain't a good day. So, me and my sister had to work it out today. Work it. Had to work it. And it's okay. And I love that we have each other to do that, right?
Yes. It was an SOS. It was an SOS, smoke signals and everything.
Not the SOS.
Yes. She sent me that life jacket and that lifeline and where it say call a friend and all that on Alex out. Ring Stacy for 5,000. All that good
stuff. Well, that's what we're here for, and I love it. I always, because.
And thank you, Nikki.
Right?
Thank you. And we thank y'all for tuning in. But we got a nice show today. Go ahead, sis. Give it to us.
I know. Yes. So the beautiful, beautiful Miss Candy is on. I'm about to let her come on into the room. Hey, Miss Candy. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're mute. Let's see. Are you muted? You're not
I'm on.
muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you there, girl. Hey, girl. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you agreed to come on today and share your story with us.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm so excited. We are honored for your presence today. So I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. I so appreciate you. I'm not going to hold the people. I want you to introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do, why, what, all that. Whatever you want to share with us, the floor is yours, Miss Sassy Mom. I love the word. I
Well,
like it.
hello, hello, everybody. Thank you for the intro and the opportunity. I always like sharing my story, and I like just networking and just being a blessing to other people and sharing hope. Um, as you said, my name is Candy Parker. Um, and I'm Sassy Mom. And Sassy Moms is mentoring other mothers successfully, an organization that I put together back probably in 2015, and it was out of my lived experience where I saw that it was needed more of peer support in areas of where I lacked as a mom, and I felt that during the time. I am a mental health advocate. So let me give you that little details a little bit about me. I'm a mental health advocate. I am a certified peer specialist parent, a forensic peer mentor, a facilitator, and advocate. What those stand for and what they are is this: I provide peer support to parents who have children with emotional distress or disabilities, and it is a state certification that I learned about during my journey of finding out my in my healing process. I could put it that way. Um, Back in where I started at, back in 2015. Um, I had a psychotic episode, and I wasn't in a good place in my life at that time. I was married, three children. I was living in Henry County, and but because I was the housewife for Henry County, so life was good on the outside, but I really was a dressed up mess, and I was
Mhm.
dealing with some things that I didn't know how to deal with at the time. So at that moment, I called on another mom, a friend, and I'll talk about her shortly. And I was like, "Hey, I don't feel right." And she
Mhm.
was like, "What you mean?" And from past experiences, I'm not gonna lie, I have been in and out of mental health institutions because of breakdowns and meltdowns and didn't know how to handle situation. This time I felt it, and I just took action. I was like, "Look, I know something don't feel right. I don't want to kill myself, and I don't want to die, but I feel like I'm dying." And she was like, "Well, what you want to do?" I said, "I think I need to go to the hospital." And that's one step. Acknowledging that you have a problem and taking action on it is very important in this message as well. At that time, I didn't want to call family, unfortunately. My husband was at the time was working overseas. I still had my children. I was here by myself, and so as you all know, it take a village, really take a village to help you raise your children. And so I had already built my community and my children and around their school, being a PTA and all those different activities. So I was comfortable with talking to this mom. So she took my children. I was put in the hospital, and that's where it all begun. When I got out, she held accountability for me, but I still had issues. As a mom, I still was, as we all are. I worked hard. I didn't want to take care of myself. I had to pay my bills. I didn't have time to go to no groups or no no type of therapy, anything. That wasn't really an option. I thought it wasn't an option. And so when it happened again, this time I didn't go to the hospital. This time it was like a medication had changed. I finally was put on medication, and the medication had side effects. And the side effects were so bad, I got suicidal, and I wanted to. For 2 weeks, y'all, 2 whole weeks, I laid in the bed. Depression is real. I couldn't take care of my children. I couldn't do nothing. That same friend came back to me. She's like, She's like, I'm gonna take you to this support group. And that was the first time I was introduced to support. And so understanding what a support group was, we hear about it through, Alcoholic Anonymous and NA, those type of things. So I'm like, support group. So when she took me, y'all, that changed my life. I asked God, I said, if you could get me out of this, because I was horrible. I said, if you get me out of this, I promise you, I'll do right. I want to live. I will want to live. So in that moment, I was introduced to NAMI, and that was a National Alliance of Mental Illness. And I realized that I found peers just like me, moms, families who were suffering just like me, but just want to understand what was going on with them, just like I did. So moving forward, I was diagnosed with bipolar, OCD, ADHD, all these different things. Didn't know what it was, but I was happy because finally I knew what was wrong and I can figure out and I can get myself help. So moving forward, I became an advocate and became an influencer on social media because I was very transparent. I was very transparent, letting people know that mental health is real. I was suffering. I was taking all these different type of medications just to see, it's just like a experiment was on me. I was just deteriorating. I couldn't keep a job. I couldn't stay happy. I wasn't happy in my marriage. Things just was turning upside down. So I really got active into learning more about mental health. And I knew if I was going through this, somebody else was. So therefore, I had to be a voice. But moving forward, I started being a voice and I got very active. And then I suffered from a stroke. And then I started having seizures. So then my health is involved now. So all that advocating, I was going hard. I'm telling you, I'm in every program. And I had to slow down because here I go. Something else is going on. But what people don't realize, bipolar is a medical condition that might, if you experiencing highs and lows, it may be something going on inside you, meaning that your levels may be not right. I am a certified medical assistant as well. So I've always been in the health field and medical profession. So I'm good on research and genetics and learning more about, I'm just interested in learning things that I had to take in my body because of these things I was experiencing. I was walking around with a stroke and didn't even know I was having a stroke. And so people who was ready to do 1013s on me, thinking that I was taking all kind of stuff. I was like, no, something just ain't right. And so I had to be advocate for myself. I ain't gonna lie. I ran. They called a 1013 on me. I was like, that's not the problem. And see, that's where it's very important that you educate yourself and just don't assume you know things. So here my family ready to put me back in the hospital because they thinking I'm relapsing. I done took some things. And so here I am. No. Get to the hospital. I got a stroke. And so that's when I really learned that I had to be active in my health. First, I was just advocating, trying to educate myself on learning what was going on, but then my health was still deteriorating. I wasn't taking care of myself. So that's when I really got into peer support. And that's when I realized that peer support was how important we need each other. And I found that my peer support didn't come from my family or my friends. It was coming to that community who was just like me. And so I was starting to be a voice. I was that mom who didn't recognize my signs. I was a mom who just kept going and didn't realize that my child or my children were suffering in the meantime. And so that's why I'm very adamant about mothers taking control of your household and in control of your traumas. Because if you don't recognize them, and I didn't recognize what I was going through and how it was affecting my children. So, as we all, your audience may not know,
Mm-hmm.
I lost my child um,
Take
May
your time.
25th. May 25th will be a year that I
Mm-hmm.
lost my child. And it was very, give me a moment.
Take your time. Take your time.
Listen.
That's where I realized that we need each other. And that's when I realized that what I was doing, what my purpose was. God showed me in all these years that all these people I helped, it was time for them to help me because I
Yes.
needed them. And it was very important that support from the people who I had built my community with was the number one ones who was there for me when my children died. Excuse me, when my son died. My son was 23 years old. He was in Kentucky and he drowned in a lake. And when I got that phone call, my life has changed. Um, I don't breathe the same.
Hmm.
I don't walk the same. I don't look the same. I advocate a little bit more harder because I don't want nobody's story to be my story. My child suffered a lot. And he was one of the reasons I was so hard in mental health because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how much my pain inflicted on him. But as we all tried to install in our sons to be strong, he never really showed his weakness. But we did communicate a lot about it. And so, me moving forward, grief is real.
Hmm.
Grief is real. And
Mhm.
here I am now going through almost what I went through before, feeling emotionally. Like, I made a video the other day and I posted and I said, if you ever love somebody so hard that you wish they took you and not them, that's where I'm at. But I had to always be strong because I got two other children. And being a mother has conflicted a lot of me, of guilt and anger, and I'm experiencing things, new things that I never thought I would be experiencing. And when I say that, we talk about motherhood because I stick on motherhood. I question my parenting. I question that I did enough. I question if my child loved me.
Mhm.
If my child know I loved him. And here I am. I got these other two children that I got to be strong for, but I don't know how to because I'm drowning in what I'm dealing with. So I'm in a whole no, what you said, new pain to purpose. I'm in a whole new journey of realizing that that peer support that I started before, it was a reason. I taught my child to build his community. He was an artist. He was a performer, and we found so many things after he transitioned that he made me know that he was listening to me, that he was dealing with a lot of trauma. And he was dealing with a lot of things that as a mom, we want to save our children. We want to we don't want them to have the pain that we went through. And some things I realized I couldn't save. And maybe because I did some things differently. And that's why I just go hard. And when I see families going through things and I see when they want to just say, oh, they need to grow up. No, young adults still need us. They still need us. Two I got now is 26 and 21. They still need us. And I didn't, they all say at 18, you let them go. That's when you hold on to them the most because they
Mm.
life and adulting and they are going through so much trauma as well that they not even telling us. And
Mhm.
so I have to deal with that guilt, but I move forward by sharing hope to other people. I don't want your story to be mine. Um, One thing that I was hit with a lot is that because my son drowned in a lake, you know, I was told that, oh, he was out there with them white folks. Oh, they killed your son. They did it purposely. Things that was hit to me so hurtful that I didn't raise my children to be that way. My children was very diverse. It wouldn't have been unusual for my child to be at that late. He
Mhm.
just made wrong decisions that day. And so I was hit with so many different things with grief. Um, what I had to learn is that some people unintentionally hurt you and don't realize the things they saying to you or how they saying it to you. And grief has made me stronger, had to make me stronger to fight words that people maybe not intentionally meaning to hurt you, but they do. And so I battled with that a lot with, you expect certain people to be there, you expect certain things to happen. And, and my story wasn't that way. And so my message is that I am that mother who was a single mother who was by herself. She was um, not in a space that I could say financially I was okay. And so when it was time to um, for my son transition, I talk about this as well. We had life insurance, but it didn't reach that 2 years yet. So like that Thursday before the funeral, we had it planned. All my family. We're not from here. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. We have family everywhere. I was hit with they're not paying for the funeral.
Mm.
Well, here we go. I it changed nothing. I got come up with is 10, 13,000 in 2 days to bury my child. So a lot of things that people on the outside don't know what goes on in the background. And I got a lot of donations, and people are very generous and nice to me. And people are against GoFund, and I used to be against GoFunds. I'm not anymore. I understand what they're for because it was so many things that I was hit with that I had to pay for that I needed that I didn't understand now. And I understand now what life insurance means. It's definitely for after. Because that's when hardships started hitting me and different things and life started changing for me. And but that's when I had to call on my peer support. All those resources and those things I was doing for everybody else, now I need it for me. And I was in a place that I am ashamed now to ask. At first, it was very hard, and it was like, okay, um, I had to. My peer support had to come to me and it's like, don't be afraid to tell people what you need. Because I was suffering as I was grieving. You don't know what you're going through. You don't know. Your mind is like all over the place. I didn't get no right answers for my child death. I didn't know what happened. It was so many things that was going on with me internally that I couldn't handle physically and mentally. So it was very important that I had that peer support from other parents or other people who were surrounding me. And now I'm surrounded by moms who lost their kids or their children. And, I never thought I'd be in this club. And this is a club that nobody wants to be in. Even though they're my best supporters, none of us want to be in this club because when you lose a child, I can't even explain it to you how you feel. And it's like, I'm just, it's going to be a year this Saturday. I'm probably just being able to come around. And, people see me on Facebook and they see me post this. That's just a fake ass picture. I'm just being real. It's some days I'm posting crying. There's some days I'm posting because you know what? My Facebook and my social media family give me more support than people who stay right here with me. And I'm so lonely in some days that I have to constantly reach out. I appreciate you, Stacy. I appreciate you, Kiki, because people don't know what people really going through. After that, when you have to sit in the front row, and when you got that casket,
Oh, God. Mm.
and you don't see your child no more, and you got to watch your child go on the ground, baby, y'all.
Oh, God.
Ain't nothing nobody want that feeling. And when you by yourself
Oh,
after the
God.
funeral, I think I suffered so bad. I cried. I didn't sleep for 3 months. I just stood up. I was so scared to sleep because you want your child to come back. You feel like they're gonna come back. You know this ain't real. It's just like a whole entertainment. You just gotta entertain everybody to get past that point. But when you put your child on the ground and you by
Yeah.
yourself afterwards, I never felt no pain like that in my
Yeah.
life. And I
Mm.
don't ever
Oh,
want nobody else
mm.
to feel that pain either. Because I couldn't save my child. And there's so many moms I meet who children has been murdered.
Mm.
They ain't found the person who murdered their child. You found,
Mm.
so you you feel me? And then I had a mom say to me, she said, "Well, Candy, at least your child died without suffering because her child is dying from cancer." And that hurt my heart because he's a child who grew up with my son. And to look at him suffering, and I didn't get it. Some things you don't get because it's not affecting you. But when she said that, it hit me. I post my child every day. I don't give a damn. I post him every day because I'm so proud of him. And when I have so many people in my inbox, his friends telling me how of a blessing he was to them and they missed him. I had over 300 something people at his funeral, people who came from California, Arizona, all these places. And you look at yourself, and I had to be proud of that. And one thing I had to learn through this is that I had to learn how to give myself grace. I didn't know what that meant until now. Because every day, y'all don't understand when y'all look like y'all sassy moms like me too. But every day you want to do better. You want, you want to do
You
better.
talking about look, you talking about language there, girl. Let me tell you something. Let me interrupt you just for a second, right? Because this what we do. We gonna cry, we gonna laugh,
Yes.
we gonna shit, we're here. We feel all of that. Everything that you
Mm.
have said, everything that you have felt, everything that you have walking through, we do that. We've been there, we been in it, we continue, but you have to just what you said, those little words that breaks the monotony of the
Mhm.
tears. We're here to do,
And you
because
need it. And it's
yes,
it's helpful, and it's
you
very
Thank
gotta
necessary.
you. Look, I'm happy.
gotta have that. You gotta have that.
Yeah.
Because baby, listen,
Uh,
'cause we'll be if we don't do that for each other, who will? Because we know what it feels like. We know where you are. We know
Mm-hmm.
that that moment, those feelings, all of that that you talk about, that we don't want you in this club. We don't. We don't want to invite you to the party. We don't want to do none of that. We don't want,
No.
but what I can say, and as you were talking, um, and Candy, you'll and because everybody that come on, they know that now you family, you sisters. We good,
I
we come
like that.
yeah, because you in the same city I'm in. So Kiki is in Baltimore, where I'm
Oh,
from,
okay.
and I'm here in Atlanta. But what what God was saying to me while you were talking is He was preparing you. Your journey through life, your ups, your downs, your mental health. He was preparing you because, of
Yes.
course, God knows it all, right? God knows
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen before it happened. He already has it planned. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of allowing those things to happen before you were able to get help for yourself and then help for the other people and have
Mm-hmm.
resources to call on, he said, let me do this for you first because I know what's coming and I know what you were going to need. So, you know, you just in your conversation has helped so many people already,
Yeah.
right? Because um, you're standing today.
Yeah.
You strong today. For
Mm-hmm.
you to even say yes to come on today and you got Saturday to deal with, baby, you good because
Yeah.
I don't remember.
mm,
I tell
mm.
everybody the 8 months or so, I have no idea what
It
happened.
me and I'm that way too. And
Yeah,
let me
I
tell
have
you,
no
when you
idea.
said that, it's amazing that you said that because let me tell you what you say God prepare you for. So before my son transitioned, my oldest son, best friend's mother died on my birthday. That February, that lady who I told y'all who was there to help me, she died on Valentine's Day. 3 months later, my son died.
Woo.
So I was like, God, what? No, no. These kids, and all of them left kids, young adults, my children age or younger. And when you said that, how he prepared, and now those kids were my biggest supporters. Those children are the ones who comfort me. Mom, how you doing? Mom, you there? And now I feel like God did this for a reason. That He gave me a reason to be here because they got grandchildren around. They have situations with mental health disabilities. These young adults are here and they call on me. I'm so proud of them. But the days that I'm thinking I need to be there for them, they're actually there for me. And that's when you said that he does. Yes, God prepared me. Because let me tell you, Mike went off to school in 2000. He graduated in 2018. He went off to Kentucky for a wrestling scholarship. He was a top wrestler here in his high school and well known. And he didn't come home often. I rarely saw Michael. That last year in 2020, 2022, Michael had a rough year as a young adult. And he was like, and in 2023, um, 2022, he asked me, he's like, Mom, can I come home just to get on my feet? And I said, yes. He came home in that January. And that's my first time any child was living with me or been around me in a long time, in 5 years. Michael left March 22nd. And I held on to Michael. He had a show in Kentucky. He wanted to go back to Kentucky. And I held on to Michael so hard, y'all. And he was like, Mom, I gotta go. I'm about to miss my flight. And I never did this before. When he walked out the door, I watched him walk away.
Mm.
And that was the last time I saw him. The day before he transitioned, I went in his room because he was such a bachelor. He had his room all made up. And I was like, Michael ain't coming back home no time soon. I took some plants out his room. I took some things out his room and I put them in my bathroom, put little different places in the house. Y'all, the next day they called me to tell me my child was gone. And that hit me because things just like you're saying. I was like, oh my God. I just literally out my mouth the day before said he's not coming back. And never felt it would be that type of way that, it was going to be that way. May 20th is my daughter's birthday. And that was the last time I talked to him. We all FaceTime her. He was in Kentucky. He was supposed to be home that weekend because my daughter's birthday is May 20th. The oldest birthday is May 30th. He transitioned May 25th. I said, that middle child always got to make a splash. So we're never going to ever forget him.
Right.
Make sure that. So it's like my 3-pack is all in one, all in one. And when you lose a child, I tell people all the time, especially when you have multiples, you understand the pieces. You understand the value. Sometimes you look at it and you be like, yeah, you love them. You love all your children the same. But everybody got different pieces of you in them. And then they all have come, you love them in different ways. And Michael was my child who held me down. He was my mini-me. He was ambitious. He was goal-minded. He was, he was a business-minded with his music. He was very creative. And he was into sports, fitness. He was just a well-rounded young man. But he went through a dark stage. He was heartbroken. He done started adulting. He was like, I don't want to be adult anymore. The week before Michael left, Michael said, I'm not having any children. And I was like, what? He's like, I'm not having no children. Because why you bring children in this world, you can't help take care of them. And we used to go back and forth about stuff like that. I'm like, boy, you was an adult. You need to learn how to be, we create our own little monsters. And that was my little monster who really was, that one that felt that if he did good, you need to do good by him. He wanted to be rewarded. He wanted to be rewarded for anything. I'm like, boy, you done passed that stage. It's time for you to grow up. But those are memories that I can laugh about with you all. Because there's been times, everybody said, you get so many people, and I want to give this to the public too. I don't think people, I need to write a book on what not damn say and what to say to people when they when somebody died. And
Yeah.
you just said something a few minutes ago that I'm so proud of myself that I was able to embrace. See, in the beginning, I didn't accept nobody telling me it was God's plan, it was God's will, because I was like, no, my child was supposed to be here. Who said that it was God's will? I remember my aunt was when we was lowering Michael in the ground, and I bust out crying, and she said, "Oh, it's God's plan," and I yelled at my aunt,
Ooh.
and I said, "God's plan? I want my baby back." Yeah, my aunt's son died 5 months later.
Oh.
And I had to go to my auntie, and I was like, and he was like my brother. We grew up together, and that hurt me. And I went to my auntie, and everything she said, I'm so sorry. So sorry I said that to you. I said, Auntie, I understand. I said, you didn't know. She said, but who would have known her son was going to die? We had so many tragic things that happened to us last year that after my son died, we had about 5 young children die in our family. And so we had a hell of a year last year. And we still going through it because when you reach that first birthday, that Mother's Day, and the dates you remember the most is the day they transition and the day you put them in the ground. It's like the 25th and the 3rd hit me so hard, y'all. I'm just getting to the point where I can be okay. And I had to tell my support team, I need y'all to text me on the 3rd and the 25th because I feel like I'm drowning and I feel alone. And every day it's like it was unintentionally, it would hit me. And that's when like you said, I was prepared. God prepared me for this because I knew what to do. And even though I'm saying I knew what to do, I had to take steps. Like I said, grace. Because I was beating up myself. I was like, no, I'm better than this. I'm better than this. No, I need to be out. I need to be out here. I should not be depressed. I can get up and I'm okay. Like I posted the other day, grief come like hot flashes. You don't know when it's going to come. And it's hard to explain that to people who don't understand because some people think you put your loved ones in the ground and that's it. Literally. People look at you, you should be okay. Oh, you fine.
Yeah.
No.
They do.
I tell people, I was like, it's not at that moment I need the most support. It's at the moment now I need more support. And people don't realize is that that's what carried me on is my support line.
Yeah.
My support team. And I had to learn to build my own. And now everybody's not your support team now either. You got to be careful with that.
Let's say that again.
You have to allow people in spaces that you want them to be in. I can't talk to everybody. I'm gonna be real with you. And I know sincerely some people just call me just to be concerned about me. But sometimes I get off that phone feeling worse. And I don't want to hurt their feelings. I just be like, don't answer that call next time. And I hate to say it, but
no, it's the truth.
It's the space that you're in. And even like, you know, even with certain moms, I certain moms can't handle this. They don't want to talk about it, you know, and I get it. And I had to deal with that with my own children, whereas I want to look at the videos. Michael left me so many videos on YouTube, and I want to sit there and rejoice. But my child's sitting here like, why are we looking at this? I miss my brother. So it's like so many disconnects that you want to reconnect, and you realize that you was disconnected. You know, I had moments where I try not to compare them. You want his love. I want his love and his touch so much. And I realize it's not in my other two children. And it's not fair to them. I said, one time me and my son and my mom was together. And, you know, it was her birthday. And he was hugging her. And I missed and said, hug her like Mike will hug her. And I felt I was right, and I stopped immediately. I said, I'm so sorry. And it wasn't intention. It was just like, you know, it wasn't intentional, but you have to, it's like a lot you have to battle with when it comes down to grief and the steps. And they say it is so many steps that you have to go. And I always talk about heal. And I told a lot of people, when you're going through the grieving, you got to think about the words heal. And I always I had to think about my health. See, I didn't get no sleeping pill. There's some people who went and got medicine. I didn't even think to go get no medicine. Y'all, I winged that shit out. I pretty much was like up at night by myself, rocking.
Just rock.
Like, she
whacking.
My girlfriend's like, her son had passed away, and she said, why did you get a sleeping pill? I was like, oh snap, you right. I could have got a sleeping pill. That would have been the right time to get something.
Listen, that one right there. She got her some
I wrote that bad boy out.
I did too, girl.
I was so miserable. I ain't gonna lie. Mary Jane in the red cup was my best friend.
Mary Jane in the red cup.
Mary Jane in the red cup was my best friend. And that's what I mean. We talk about how people cope and everybody's, you know, I do believe in therapy. I do believe that everybody needs therapy, but I also realized that therapy was not everything I needed. And when you're going through grief, you got to find different ways. Because right about now, I'm still searching. Yeah, I need therapy. Yeah, I can talk to her. But this is therapy to me too. What I'm doing right here with you all. You all listening, you all understanding and can relate to me. That's very important. And then fitness, mentally. Like I lost so much weight, y'all. I went down to 103 pounds. I'm
Wow.
just getting at maybe I'm at 110. My blood
Wow.
pressure went up. The stress kept going. I could feel that I was going through so many things. So your health is very important. That you have to keep your health intact. And I wasn't thinking about that. And then just the fact of hope, just keeping hope. You know, I have people say journal and stuff. I ain't good at journaling. What I do is I make videos and post them. And whether you like it or not, that's just how I felt at that moment. That's what I did. And you know, everybody, I ain't for everybody, you know.
Mm,
And sometimes you be
it's
afraid to say
okay.
that you don't want to say and you think somebody's watching and you shouldn't say it. I don't care about that. I don't really went past that stage because I do, like you said, I do have something to say and I do have a message. I do have my story I don't want it to be nobody else's story. But I also want
Mhm.
everybody to get to the point where you have to learn, like you said, I prepared myself. I prepared myself. If I wasn't actively in control of my mental health,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be here, y'all. I
Mm-hmm.
would be dead. And I'm gonna keep it real because
Mm-hmm.
that's how grief took me out. My
Mm-hmm.
somebody came, she's like, because I also do spa, I do massages and teeth white. You know, I do that. I'm in that industry
Okay.
as well with the wellness, right? And I can incorporate it all together with what I do. So somebody was like, hey, when you going back to work? And I was like, oh, I'll be back to work, you know, maybe a month after Barry might. It'd be a year. Then I just started back picking up contracts because
Hmm.
and I was like, I could not believe that. I could not believe that. It's like I couldn't do it. It's like I couldn't explain it. And some people was like, my mom, God bless her, she helped me tremendously through all this financially. And there was points in time she's like, oh, you think you could work yet? No, mama, I ain't there yet. I ain't there yet, mama.
Right.
Could
But
go
she
get a little
understood.
job, just a little job.
Exactly. That's what like it's a little something,
Go,
you know, just a
go,
little something.
go Uber or something.
But you
Go
know,
pick up somebody's food or something.
exactly. So I mean, it was to the point where I just was like, and then me and this other mom, we realized that the support is not like it used to be. Do y'all remember when
No,
somebody
it
died
was
in
never.
the family and everybody come over and make sure you had to eat, they make sure you had
Food, everything.
No,
y'all never had to
everybody got too much stuff to do. Everybody got their life and everybody busy and
that
everybody,
didn't happen
yeah.
to me one time. And people don't believe me. All those donations or all those things I got, I end up having to, everybody cash apping me. I got to buy food for people coming to the house because I wasn't thinking like that. But the world is not the same. People don't think that. And I'm telling, I'm just pleading to everybody. If you do anybody lose something, we big on giving care packages. That person need the toilet paper, the paper
Yeah,
towels,
they do.
somebody to
Uh,
the
Yeah, they
Paper
do.
detergent.
plate.
You don't
Yep.
think like that. And when it's
Yeah,
you don't even want to cook. And even
right.
if they give you, I had preferred people, even though they were cash apping me and telling me to do Uber Eats and Uber this and Lyft and DoorDash,
Mhm.
I would have preferred somebody bring me a meal to the house. Because
Yes.
those times when I woke up and I couldn't sleep, or I slept them 2 hours and got back up, I didn't feel like cooking. I didn't feel like doing none of that. And I was like,
Right.
wow, we are so out of touch with, you know, us with humanity and things that we do. And trust me, I appreciate everything everybody did for me. But it was this one mom who had lost her child maybe 6 months before mine. And I was like so devastated when she lost her son. And we couldn't believe I lost mine. What she did was I would randomly get these text messages, a cash app from women I didn't even know. but they would put her hashtag of her sons in memory of her son. And I knew it came from her friends. I would get that repeatedly. And I was like, what kind of movement is this? I was like, I've never seen nothing like this. These people didn't know me, but she created, in the memory of her son, she saw that was a need. And she was like, so now we're about to team up. But we could do that for other families. We don't care if we give you $500. We give you something to help with that light bill, to help with something. People don't realize. They're like, oh, well, I'll give it to you. Before you know it's gone, you stuck if you ain't really got nothing you sitting on. And you pretty much, that's why I say life insurance means a lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I said, my situation, a lot of people think it's to help you bury your loved one. No, it's not.
It's to help you to live after.
It help you to live afterwards.
Right.
I am so knowledgeable of that right now.
That's one. Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't, people think that, oh, we ain't gonna talk about stuff that's not covered with life insurance that you got to pay for, that you don't think about. So when people say, "Oh, you don't need a GoFund account," yes, the hell you do.
Yes,
you need a GoFund. You need a GoFund account and the life insurance.
Yeah.
You need so much, baby. Unless you got that
unless you got
$1,000, yeah.
You got,
and then it don't even come all the way in the midst of. You get a lot of that afterwards. Because yes, they pay for that, but then the flowers, the obituaries, all of that, like that's not covered up front.
Exactly. I was so blessed when I was the programs and all that was donated to me. The spread, and let's talk about that. My spread was $500. The casket $2,500. The feed the people afterwards, I had to pay for that. You got to pay for the church, whether you a member or not.
Yes.
You got to pay for the man. You got to pay for that minister.
And the pianist, the soloist,
you got to pay for them to turn the lights on.
You got to pay for them. You got to pay for the police.
Yes. The escort, yes, put all.
It was so crazy. God bless the ones who had the horse carriages and everything, be able to do that. We was like, okay, we're gonna do one car, 2 cars. Do we really need 2 cars? Can everybody else drive along? So those are the things you do not think about when you're going through this, and not just like I want to be a person. Just to act, just like look, homegirl. Let me tell you, don't think. And then you sitting here you go. They talking about, oh, you need a GoFund. Yeah, that's what I need that GoFund for, is because that could have offset some of that stuff. The donations that I received, exactly what you said. I used to completely total everything. Every day was expense. I get a donation, I was sending more money. $250 here. I needed that. Oh, you need more for this. Oh, I need more for that. And I was like, oh my God. And then I hate to say, you understand why the Muslims do what they do, how they bury their people. You understand. The other thing, I had his dad who wanted him to be buried. And then I didn't have no personal problem with cremating my child. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel he's always here with me. Here we go. The burial, $5,000. Here we go. The headstone, $3,000. And you want to honor your family. And then here you go. Okay, let's not talk about these people who do these pictures, the blow-ups, these different things. You want to honor your child, and you do it in all these different ways. And I did. And then I sit back, and I'll tell you right now, it has come out my mouth. Even though I go to Michael gravesite, I wish I never did it. First of all, I don't like even going out there to talk to my child out there. It was like, it took them almost 8 months to put my child headstone on his head. So every time I couldn't find him when I was out there. I'm going to keep it real. I don't even think where their headstone is where they buried my child. I swear to God, we wasn't sitting right there. But everybody say
you're not going to remember things. You ain't going to remember.
You don't.
You ain't going to remember.
You remember? So
oh my gosh, that's funny.
I said, yeah, sure, we wasn't up on the hill. I know my child, we wasn't this close. And they was like, yes, I was like, I don't know. But that's suspect to me too. But I'm just telling y'all things that you have to be questioning when you're going through this. Because I did not, it's just those things you just don't realize. And you got to live afterwards. You got to live. And you in grieving. And if you don't have support, and I didn't have no man. Let's not talk about that. I didn't have no man. So the comfort of just somebody holding you, feeling a certain, it's a whole other feeling. I was so darn lonely.
I get
that it just was, that's probably why I couldn't go to sleep. Because I didn't have nobody there to hold me. I didn't have nobody to sit to comfort me. People were gone, ain't nobody stayed with me. My children, they lived in other places, they didn't even come. I'm sitting there by myself in misery by myself. And that is the worst feeling. I know people right now who has divorced since their children died. Because their marriage couldn't sustain it. So these are things that if you definitely have to be mindful of. And that's where I'm proud of my mental health. Because it's okay. Yeah, I get lonely, but I just able to focus on other things that I have so much other stuff going on. I really don't even need to think about in a relationship. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, okay, I'm just putting that out there that does happen. Where you feel so low and you feel so overwhelmed by everything that's going on. I couldn't even put the obituary together. I couldn't put it. You just, I was fortunate to have people step in and say, hey, we got this for you. People who wasn't in my family. Like, hey, there's people out there. I didn't even know. You got people for events. You got people for this. It's people out there who do funerals. Besides the funeral home, I was very surprised, but it was grateful. I was grateful for it. That's a whole nother business. Oh, we got this for you. My flowers. I didn't know what to do. I didn't, I never buried nobody before. I never had to be in a situation like this. So like you said,
when I did all that, I don't even remember if there was some flowers, honey, because I don't remember. I promise you, I know he had the little spread thing, but baby, I don't remember because I kept saying, I don't think I ordered flowers. I don't think I ordered flowers. But this was after, like, it was time to go. So all of those things that it happened, you have no clue what you got going on. But it's so funny that you was talking about that time that we need that support, because that's one of my goals, and that's Kiki had started a support group some years ago, because that's one thing. The job gives you 3 days for grieving, and you're supposed to go back to work after 3 days because that's your grief time. A mother, a parent ain't 3 days. Girl, listen, 3 days. I'm still at the first day, the first moment I got the phone call.
Exactly.
I don't even remember the third day. I'm not even going to the third day. What was that?
So that's one of the things that we're working towards, is to get grants and stuff to have for parents that have lost a child that need that support. Yes, if you got life insurance, and it of course eventually pays whatever, but you have to live after that. You talk about writing a book about what not to say. We talk about that all the time. I tell people quick. First of all, what does my condolences mean? What does that mean?
Right.
Nothing. It don't mean nothing. Don't say that to me. God almighty. Just made me mad all over again. I just made me mad. Don't say that. What are you saying? You don't even, just say it because other people say
it. Because we in tune to it.
Exactly. You heard other people. Oh, my condolences. Girl, what does that mean?
Oh my God.
And I tell you, I heard the words, and it was like you was taking, how you scratch the key.
The chalkboard.
Oh, that's how it felt to me. It was like, don't say that. It was the worst ever. Like I felt
Oh
madder
God.
when you said that. Like, who
Exactly.
does that? But all of those things that you have felt, you're feeling, we know it. We know that.
Mm,
We know what it feels like. We know what that is. We're here for you.
thank you.
And Candy, I was just telling Key the other day. I had. Let me tell you. Okay, let me back up just a few seconds because look, we're an hour in. Woo. Okay, so one, all three of us on here. I'm a nurse by trade. All three of us on here are in the
Okay.
medical field. Everything
Mm.
that you were talking
Okay.
about, we all recognize, we all know. I love it. It's all divine. I love how
Yes.
God put things together.
Works it
Like you
out.
said,
Mhm.
yeah, we never wanted to be in this club, but He puts us around the people that we need to be around.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
connects the dots that we try to figure out where to go. So that's one thing. Two, like we talked about that whole funding part that parents need. Like we got to be able to reach out and be able to help mothers like us that
Mhm.
your mama, that was awesome. I ain't had my
She
mama helped me.
tired though.
Don't get me wrong. My mother, she was like, okay, what can I do? But
Right.
that just like you, it's so, and I always use the word crazy, but I shouldn't. But it's so divine how God does, because your year last year was my year 2016. We lost my
Uh,
niece, my son, my sister, my cousin, my like
mm,
we it was five, like it was
back to back.
back to back. A month and a half after my son, my sister died. Like my
Mm,
mother lost her grandson and then lost her child. Like, so it was just a whole bunch of mental
mhm.
help to talking about writing the book, all of that's all us. That's all we've been
Yeah,
talking about.
because
Mhm.
I started a book back in and I never published it. I started a book saying beautiful but broken butterflies, beautifully broken butterflies.
Crazy.
And if y'all do follow me, you see, like, I don't know if y'all can see it where I got the
I saw your
butterfly,
butterfly. Uh-huh.
yeah, of my son,
That's
and
butterflies.
and because he had one right here, and I didn't know he put one on him, because you don't look at the kids,
Wow.
sure. And so he done got several girls who got him.
Okay.
My daughter, and I was like, okay, to each his own. But because I got butterflies on all me. So I always love butterflies. So that's why we keep the butterflies ones. And then we found out that this month is Drowning Prevention Month. And so
Oh wow.
that was like a water safety awareness, and the color is
Mm.
purple. So that's why you always see me posting purple, or the event, because I just feel that that's stigmatized in our culture as well.
Yeah.
My son knew how
Hmm.
to swim, my children knew how to swim, but I never talked to them about safety at a lake
Right.
because I was afraid of water. I let them go out there. Their dad taught them, and Michael was definitely the one who was a
Hmm.
um, fish in the water. We would say he would go, into the deep end, and I'd be like, "Come on back, boy, come on back," or whatever. So it just, yeah. How can you say this without? I can say without being like sounding crazy. It seemed like I could see him dying in the water. Like I picture my son sometimes, like when the young man tell me the story how it happened. I see my son like reaching up, just letting go, saying, it's just something divine about it. And like a couple of weeks was the first time I was able to stand in front of water. And because I really was like, I would ride by a bed of water, or and I love the beach. I love the water, and it was scary. My stomach would just like a pit in my stomach. Like, oh my god. So the other day I was like, it's a lake in Fayetteville, and I was there, and all I could see is just the sparkling lights of the water. And the girl told me, she said there were fish that light up. But I
Mm.
saw like visually, I don't know if God wanted to see it, but it just seemed like it appeared, an angel disappeared, and then it went away. And I was like, y'all saw that? And I was trying to take a picture.
Mhm.
I even got,
It
I
was
think I
just for
posted,
you.
and I
Yeah.
said, oh, and I felt it for the first time because I don't know about y'all. Like my son really hasn't came to me in my sleep. And like, you know how we talk about wanting to come in your dreams, and I be
Mm.
I'm like, Mike, come on, come on. Now my best friend, she done came to me. My brother done came to me. Everybody done came to me except Mike. Not maybe the way I want him to. You know what I'm saying? Like I just really want him to say, Mom, okay?
Right.
Hey mom, talk to me. But I just feel his presence in different other ways. And all the
God.
ups and downs and the hardship I go through, I sit back and I be like, Michael just telling us we need to get right. He been
Mm.
saying that. He been, our family was kind of dysfunctional anyway. We wasn't together like we wanted to, and he was saying that it's like we need to get together. We need to get together, and and I'd be like, when you so used to how things go, and he's away, we used to how we function. But he
Mhm.
wasn't happy at that, and it just opened my eyes. But the other two, I'd be like, look, we got to get it better. We got to get it right because that's what your brother would want. And I'm gonna keep his memory alive. I don't care if nobody say kids get
As
tired
you
of me,
should.
anybody get tired of me. Um,
Too
I
bad.
just, yeah, it's too bad. I just
Too bad.
I have
Yeah.
fun
Too
because I
bad.
see so much that he did, and I be like, wow, Mike, you like things I told him. We found this thing um after Mike passed away. I was going through his things, and that's just a whole nother when you're going through this stuff. And I found this thing, this paper he wrote out, and it was his affirmations for 2023. And he made a list. And y'all, on the affirmation, I ain't gonna repeat all of them, but it was, I will be supported by my friends, and people around me will support me. I will heal from my trauma and my grudges. I will have my dream car. I will love my family and my family will love me unconditionally. It was so many little things and pieces. I said, you know what, my child got it. He got it. He got it. I get it so wrapped up or worrying about if he got it or he loved me. And he showed me a lot of signs that he does. And so I definitely appreciate y'all. Let me share with y'all. This is like my therapy today because I missed my
This
session this week.
this out. This out. Listen, let me tell you something. This is our
Yeah.
therapy too. People every
Yeah.
week. They don't know we come to therapy, honey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't,
Yeah.
and I didn't do therapy. I didn't do
You
therapy,
didn't.
and I didn't.
I'm gonna
As
be
I
real with
tell
you. I
everybody,
think it's a waste. It's a waste. I'm about to. Um, I don't
no,
know.
don't,
I don't know
don't.
if she on here or
Because,
not. That's what I'm saying.
right?
You don't know
No,
people,
no. This is
but
the thing. Now,
it's not. It's
She
not
did.
for me.
Well, Kiki did. She did therapy, and she do therapy, and we are almost 8 years in. So it doesn't mean that it's not for you. It wasn't for me because I felt like, how can you tell me something that you ain't been through? How can you help me? But then he put a whole new spin on it,
Yeah.
that said that it wasn't. That's not what it was for in the first place. You got to unpack some stuff. So it doesn't mean that it's not for you. It just wasn't for me because I trusted God to, and I still trust God to take me through this daily, moment by moment, second by second, because it's still, there's still triggers, there's still emotions, there's still
Yeah.
pain. And He will say all the time that you don't heal from this until you go to your grave. There's no, you don't heal. You're healing. There's a healing process, but you're not going
Mm-hmm.
to heal until you're gone, because you will forever have the pain of losing your son. It just is what it is. So instead of, and I tell people quick, I ain't able and I ain't stable, so you better, keep me where you at. But I want y'all to hear
Right.
this right here. One of our sister moms sent this, and I'm hoping. Let me know if y'all can hear it. Most of us get Can you hear that? In this rut of and we think by holding on to the pain, not the memory. We think by holding on to the pain that the world will now see. You're honoring you. And it can be addictive. I'm gonna let you hear it again. Don't die before your actual death. Just because you've buried a loved one. Most of us get stuck in this rut of pain. And we think by holding on to the pain, not the memory. We think by holding on to the pain that the world will now see. You're honoring you. And it can be addictive. So this woman, when I tell you, she said, don't die before your death. Because you buried.
That's a lot. That's powerful.
That was so heavy for me.
Because that's how you
don't die before your death. Because you buried a loved one. Because you get so stuck in the rut of the pain, not the memory. And it gets addictive. Boy,
that hits her right on the spot.
Oh, baby, that thing just went through my whole body. Cause I know that we've all been there, and you're so fresh in this, Candy. Like you fresh in it, so we get it. But in that, don't die before your death. Don't die before your death.
I'm a repost that.
Yeah, don't let the pain kill you.
It'll try.
Don't let the pain kill you. Do not let the pain kill you.
It definitely will. And you're right. And that's where I'm just at.
Yeah.
You know, it's like something got to get better. But you know, like I tell people, it's like that's when we get back to like giving yourself grace. Because I always feel like I told you, I was thinking that I'm better than this. I should be, you know, some days I wake up and, you know, I do a lot of events, and even with my business, it's not even booming or kicking off because I don't even really be caring, knowing that I need the finances or whatever, but I just don't have the energy. So definitely, it's like I'm like you said, I'm still. Everybody keep telling that every seasoned mom tell me that, angel mom tell me they're like, you're still fresh in it. Like you know, one mom, she told me, she's like, girl, I didn't get to the point where I could really feel like myself. She's like, it was almost 2 or 3 years in, and I was like,
That was like 2 or 3.
Listen.
I said,
we are almost 8 years in, and we just started this podcast a few months ago, and it took everything that we could to get it done. I started my son's foundation last year or year before because it took me that long to write it on the paper. And every time I went to write it down, no, don't just listen.
You definitely get me on that part. You definitely get me on the part.
Let me give you some quick advice before we get out of here, because and
I want it. I'm ready to listen.
First of all, feel what you're gonna feel. Feel everything that you need to feel. You feel it. Stop beating yourself up. Stop doing that. You didn't make a mistake. There was nothing else you could have done. You were the mother, the best mother you could be at the time that you were a mother. And you're still a mother, and you're still a great mother. There is nothing that you could have done, would have done, should have done, didn't. We've said all of that. This was what was supposed to happen, happened. Not that we wanted it to happen, not that it was supposed to happen that way, not that it don't feel good, it ain't gonna be none of that. But I want you to feel what you feel. I don't care what that is. Don't ever say how I felt. I feels crazy. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. What you saw on the water was for you, not for everybody else. That's why you can't get a picture. That's why nobody else saw it.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to make you see him,
Exactly.
just you and him.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get those moments, those are just for you. It ain't for everybody. I've seen butterflies or the red bird, and I'll go to take a picture and be gone because it wasn't for everybody. It's
So you
for
know
me.
about the red bird?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Oh
telling you,
yeah, I gotta keep tapped in with y'all.
yeah, I have so many familiarities.
Yes, yes, yes,
just
yes.
know all of that. But I want you to understand that God has you covered. That God, it will never, ever, ever leave you. He gonna stay as close to you as you allow him to stay. So we get it. We know the pain. We're here for you. Um, all of that you're feeling, all that you're doing, all that you even thinking about, we know it.
Well, I
And
definitely want to keep tapping with y'all because,
yes,
like you
please
said,
Oh my
do.
gosh. It's
like you
done.
said,
You
you
family
had
now.
it now.
It's done.
Yeah.
You family
Because
girl.
even like you
Done.
said, you started your foundation and stuff, and we also started an organization called NYOB Mind Your Own Business, and it's more geared to youth and young adults in the arts and the community and culture. And so I definitely, want to be.
Wow.
I know it's needed in the mental health field with young adults, and it's seeing like I just told y'all, if you understood,
Yep.
like those young adults who parents they lost their parents, you know what I'm saying? You see, and a lot of them talk to me. I had kids come to me and say, I wish my mom and dad was like you. I wish they
Mhm.
supported me like you do. And that hurt your heart because I didn't think I did enough. I didn't think
Mhm.
that I was supporting Michael enough. And I was just mom. His music I really wasn't into. So I just was mom. You know, I didn't know this person. He's called Mikey Trail Figure. I didn't know who that was. He let me hear some of the music, and I'd be like, I'm not playing that.
Yeah.
Some of the things was a little too explicit or whatever. But the more and more that his friends will send me things, and I look at how creative he was and his content, and it's like wow. And he's been doing this ever since he was like in the 7th grade. He left me a blessing. He had 2 YouTube
Wow.
channels, all his wrestling matches on one, and all his music from when he was a child to now. And you know what? I'm going to take pride of that because it's some mothers out there who can't even post pictures of their children because they don't have any.
Nope.
Yeah.
They don't have
Yep.
nothing. And I have one girlfriend who's like that, and I feel because half of her child's life he was incarcerated. So when he
Mm.
got out, she tragically was killed. So, at first I did feel bad for posting a lot. I was like, oh, and then I had to stop it. This is my memory. This is my child. This is how I love him. And I'm going to keep honoring him
That
how I
part.
want to honor him. And if anybody got a problem with it, that's them.
Yep.
And, oh,
Exactly.
well, you know how to
Yep.
delete,
Right.
unfollow, and everything else in life and do that on social media as well. Because I'm about to come hard.
Right.
I
That.
got, it's
Yep.
about things that I need
Yes.
to talk about and things like we discussed on here that people do not realize and do not know.
Mhm.
And like we said, the unintentional hurt. And that don't just come from um but I realized that it was more than my son's death that the unintentional hurt. For some reason, I don't know if this happened with y'all, but everything about trauma came up to the front of me. Stuff with my dad, stuff with my mom, stuff in relationships, all these things were distracting me. The devil just distracted me from grieving Michael because I was so angry at things that took place. And y'all should know how funerals are, and some
Yeah.
things happen during those times. And those I went through it. I ain't even touched on those things because some things is just inappropriate to talk about. But at
Mhm.
the same time, I did go through the ups and downs when it came down to the funeral arrangements. Let's put it that way.
Mhm. Mhm.
Disagreements with a lot of different things, and um, with my situation, we were in a blended type of situation where my ex-husband actually is the one who took care of Mike, but his real father, always something wanted to pop up, and you know how that go. I was respectful enough to include them in situations, and I had family members who felt I shouldn't. But I felt like, Michael wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for him. So he needs to see what I did. How about that? He need to see how well we took care of Mike, and
Right, right.
so the way I looked at it was totally different where my family didn't. So it caused a little friction.
Mhm.
So to me, I'm like, my child has died. Why are we fussing about stupid stuff? Why aren't y'all here just comforting me? So it's like a lot of when they say drama happen, when death happens, drama and death is real, and that is
Mhm.
like very real when they just constantly things that you wouldn't believe that people would come at you about. I just couldn't believe. And I think that was part of the grief, that why I couldn't sleep on some things, because I just could not believe I was going through some things that, like, I just lost my baby. Why am I hurt by something you said or you did when Mike was no longer here? But it still was an issue. It still affected me. And that's all where my childhood traumas was creeping up on me. You know, my dad never was in my life. My dad didn't come into my life until Michael was born. So Michael died at 23 years old. So I met my dad 23 years ago. So when he he probably left maybe 2 days after the funeral. I ain't hear from my dad a whole month. And I was really hurt. But then I had to think about it. You just being you.
Right.
You ain't doing nothing no different. Why did I expect you to be any different than you
Mm-hmm.
was before? Because you lost a grandchild and I'm your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's things you have to deal with mentally that I had to grow up on. Like you said, God prepared me, because any other time I'd be ready to strike back. But
Mm-hmm.
I was able to, how can you say, eloquently tell him how I felt without being very sassy.
Right.
And I felt good
Mhm.
about that.
That's
And I felt
good.
good that I
Mm-hmm.
was able to let that out. And it was like, Dad, you ain't been here all my life. This one time I
Mhm.
needed you. I should not have. Well, baby girl, I thought you need your space. I needed my space. That's another thing. Some people, I was like,
Well,
so
they
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what to. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was so
Yeah.
surprised at certain people that did not contact me or made it an excuse, or they
Don't be
thought they
surprised.
didn't know what to say to
Don't be
me. Type
surprised.
of
Yeah.
crap.
Yep.
And so you're right.
Mhm.
I'm over that
That's the
now.
saying. I
That
don't know what
I
to
didn't
Yeah.
know what
say. I
to
didn't
say.
know what. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be
Mhm.
surprised. Don't be
And so that's
surprised.
when I
Just
said, I tell people the smallest peer support matters. Me texting you
yep.
how you doing today, it didn't take me but 2 seconds to do that.
Yep.
But that meant
Mhm.
more to somebody than you just sitting there. I ain't asked you to have no conversation. I ain't asked you to talk about it. I didn't ask you to do none of
Right.
that. I just asked you, like, you be like, girl, I just help you pay your rent. Girl, I just helped you did this. Girl, when defects was on your butt about your child, I was there. When
Right.
when your child was trying to attempt to kill themselves, I was there. And you can't
Right.
be there for me when my child died? Come on now. So that just opened my eyes that everybody ain't capable and willing, and that everybody ain't qualified either. So since you
Mm-mm.
showed me your
You don't want
qualification,
to be.
I
You
don't
don't
want
want
you.
everybody. Heck no. You don't want everybody to be.
So that's what you said when I
Not
say
everybody assignment. Yeah,
I
that's
know
not
who
everybody's
to answer,
assignment.
and I know who not to talk to.
I
I'm
ain't
just in that
interested.
space.
I
I'm
ain't
Mhm.
just in
able
that
and I ain't
space.
stable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody think, oh, you acting funny. No, I ain't acting funny.
Honey,
I just
I'm funny acting right now. Daggone
well,
it.
look.
I'm gonna
Somebody
be
told
funny
me
acting.
at my son's funeral. Somebody said, "Oh, that was the Candy Parker show." Damn, Skippy. I'm proud to have this. This is mine. Take you. Oh, let me tell you, I was faced with. I was. It was the Candy Parker show. Um. Oh, y'all. That's a
Mm.
whole
That's,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
That's
that's
part
another
two.
show.
That's part two.
Right, that's
Somebody
part
told me
two.
yes. It was some things I just was like that I felt that was unreal and very hurtful that came from a lot of people, close people.
Mm.
Like I said,
Oh yeah, don't be
close people.
surprised.
Yeah.
Don't be
Uh,
And so
surprised.
now, like you said, I'm in a space of, you know what? It don't surprise me. Like you said, nothing surprises me now because everybody have their opinion.
Yep,
Everybody got it. Just like they say, everybody got a whole a hole. Everybody
they do.
got opinion. So the way I look at it is like to each his own. I
yeah.
don't recommend people to grieve alone. I do say find your support. You know,
Right.
y'all have found y'all support
Mm-hmm.
within each other, and I have found my little tribe here. I'm growing. You know, it's trying to step out more because I don't know how y'all was. I wasn't big on going out. I still have a little anxiety when I go out sometimes
Oh my
um,
gosh, yeah.
when I see other young adults, you know, like right now it's overwhelming with all the prom and even though my
Graduation.
child had already experienced that, but you know, even the ones I see, because Michael was in his like he probably had like 10 more credits he needed to graduate from college. So when I see that his age group graduating from college, you know, things like that still touches me. I don't like big
Of
crowds.
course.
You know, I'm more settled, you know, the things that flashy you got to be at brunch every no, I'm gonna stay home and spend my money. You learn how to save a whole lot after you lose a child as well. It's like some things this ain't
Yeah.
important, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now I always recommend and I tell you the ideal thing, and I don't know how y'all felt. The ideal thing I tell every mom, if I could do to help any mom, was send them on a trip, go to the spa, do things that's
Yeah.
wellness that's going to help you mentally because you if you have those things they do
Mm-hmm.
help if you're fortunate enough to go away. Trust me, if I was fortunate enough to keep taking trips I would take them. If I was fortunate enough to always, and it's all about me, I want to bless the next person, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like girl, I know what you're going through, no, go do this. Don't listen to nobody else. Go do this. And it
Yeah.
helps because
Mm-hmm.
you get in that space where you do all the planning, you do all these different things, and you just overwhelmed. And I just feel like I just
Mm-hmm.
been overwhelmed and drained for a long time. And this is my season where, you know, like when I say I feel like I'm better than this, it's not that I feel like I'm better than this. I feel it's not my chance to move silently, but effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And if that make any sense to y'all, you know, mental health is very important. And like I told you, my blood pressure started going back up. I can't handle a lot no more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have another stroke. I can feel it when things is happening. When my best friend died on Valentine's Day, she died of a massive heart attack, and she was only 51.
Oh
So,
gosh.
you know, and I look at all these people, I'm like, what? You like you said, what sign? I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, how in the world all these people that were so close to me died like rapidly, back to back, including my child, and they up in heaven. The people who held me down here, y'all. I mean, my prayer warrior. I think I
What's
screamed
keeping you going now? They
exactly,
up there rallying around, keeping you going now. Trust me.
exactly. And I think that everybody, I grieved harder for her. I didn't grieve harder for her with my son like I did, but I think I reacted to it because I had just talked to her 2 hours before they called me back to tell me she was gone, and I was like, no,
Right.
no, and didn't turn around. My son is we. Me and the kids, everybody, her children, everybody, we still talk about to this day. We cannot believe that she died and Michael died. She died in February and Michael died in May. We still can't, you know, it still feel unreal, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so I just tell you, love on your children, be blessed, enjoy
Yes,
your
indeed.
grandkids, enjoy them, love them, and you know, God is good. I appreciate y'all community. You know, I done built a whole new community,
Yes, indeed.
and
Yes,
sometimes
ma'am.
a whole new community that I went to a brunch this past Sunday for the first time. And I was hesitant to go because I ain't really want to be around moms. I'm thinking they're gonna be sad and crying. and I really trying to move out that space that I cry every time. Now, me telling my story is different, but I need more activities in my life that's uplifting. And I ain't gonna be crying. And it wasn't that way. They were seasoned moms just like you all, and everybody's story is different. You have some people who children die from disease or heart or some type of health issue. Then you have some tragically die gunfire, gun violence, and I just tell all these mothers, like you said, you started your foundation and for your son, find a cause. It's a cause. It's a purpose.
Yep.
You just the ones who just sit back. It's a purpose. It's a reason behind it, and you just got to find it. Not everybody can, and I think we are the angel moms that help other moms to find a voice, because sometimes they don't
Mhm.
have a voice, and I've always had a
Mhm.
voice, but now it's like my voice. I just posted. I was selected to be a presenter at the National Federation of Families. Um, I put a proposal in because I really want to teach people to learn peer support. But what if you had a family who have lost a child in that family? How are
Mhm.
you giving them peer support? So just
Mhm.
giving them, navigating them to understand that is very important, as because I'm also, like I said, a peer specialist. So with some of my parents, a lot of parents you may run into like us. What you
Right.
gonna do? What you gonna stop servicing them because you don't know what to do?
Right.
But
Right.
Yep.
that you need, that we need from you. And I feel I'm
Mhm.
perfect to put that out there to show them how they could be, there for them. So
Mm-hmm. Well, we
definitely.
definitely have to have you back on again. We all going to stay connected. You're there on that side, so I know
Yes.
you're going to be covered. So thank you so much for joining us today, for telling your story. It was so enlightening and encouraging. You encouraged us, even though you made us cry too. No, well, we do thank you. Yes.
Yes.
So
I
as we
appreciate y'all so much. I
thank
appreciate
Well,
y'all
we
so much.
appreciate
Hold on,
you.
hold on.
yes,
We
yes,
Yes.
and
definitely do.
Thank you for
So,
having me on. I definitely gotta
yes.
tap in and let me know when y'all have, if I could put y'all in my community as well with Sassy Moms. But
Yes, for
need that
sure.
support. Definitely. Because we want to start like a peer support for grieving. I'm just seeing where the need is at. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised until you tell your story, and then people, like, oh, that's my story too. And you'd be like, oh, I didn't even know that was your story.
Right.
You don't know.
mhm,
And I guess a lot of people, I tell people, I heal out loud.
I
I'm
like
mhm,
that. I
healing
like
out
that.
loud.
I hear out
yeah,
loud. Yes.
So
yeah,
I love
like some people do
yeah.
it silently and they really don't have nobody. And my
it.
heart
Right.
go out to them. But I'm
Yeah,
good. I got you. I got Stacy and
right.
Kiki now.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we so again appreciate you. Time well
Yes,
spent as
I'm coming.
always. Uh,
yes,
and
yes,
we are going to say good night. I love it. I love
Good
you
night,
too.
yes,
everybody.
yes.
So you
Good
let
Thank
me know.
you.
night.
Bye bye.
So sitting. Well, it was a long night. But it was well worth the time.
Yes, 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 yes,
So good night,
indeed.
guys.
Good
We
night.
appreciate
Thank you for
you.
joining us.
We'll see
Yes.
you next week.
Yes, indeedy. Woo.